Good morning, children. Today we are going to start our next chapter, The Garden Party. The story is written by Catherine Mansfield. Catherine Mansfield Marie was born on 14th October 1888. She was a prominent New Zealand modernist, short story writer and poet who was born and brought up in colonial New Zealand and wrote under the pen name of Catherine Mansfield. At the age of 19, she left New Zealand and settled in England, where she became a friend of writers such as D.H. Lawrence and Virginia Woolf. Mansfield was diagnosed with extrapulmonary tuberculosis in 1917. The disease claimed her life at the age of 34. Her first short stories, were published in her school's magazines. She wrote many collections of short stories like Dove's Nest and Something Childish. Now let's start the story. The Garden Party is a 1922 short story by Catherine Mansfield. It was first published in 3 parts in the Saturday Westminster Gazette on 4 and 11th February 1922 and the Weekly Westminster Gazette on 18th February 1922. It later appeared in The Garden Party and the other short stories. Its luxurious setting is based on Mansfield's childhood home at 133 Tinakori Road, the second of 3 houses in Thorndon, Wellington, that her family lived. The wealthy Sheridan family prepares to host a garden party. Laura is charged with instructing the workers on the placement of the marquee. Marquee, children, actually means a very large tent used for parties. Her haughty air quickly disintegrates into an intimidating admiration for the working men, with whom she feels a personal connection. Laura's mother, Mrs. Sheridan, has ordered masses of lilies to both their delight. Laura's sisters, Meg and Jo's, and their servants, Hans, move furniture around to accommodate the piano. Jo's tests the piano and then sings a song in case she is asked to do so again later. After serving the food in the kitchen, Laura and Jo's learn that their working class neighbor, Mr. Scott, has died. While Laura believes that the party should be called off, neither Jo's nor their mother agrees. After catching herself in the mirror wearing a new hat, Laura eases her conscience by deciding to forget the matter until the party is over. When the evening comes and the family is sitting underneath the marquee, Mrs. Sheridan tells Laura to bring a basket full of leftovers to the Scott's house. Laura is led into the poor neighbor's house by Mr. Scott's sister, sees the pitiable figure of the widow, and is led to the late husband's corpse. Here, Laura is intrigued by the sublimity of the corpse's face, and she finds his face in death, just as beautiful as life as she knows. Having fled the house, Laura meets her brother, Laurie, at the corner of the lane. She finds herself unable to explain life and death concisely, and Laurie understands that his sister has come to realize her own mortality. Children, here in this story, the major themes are class consciousness. Laura feels a certain sense of kinship with the workers and again with the Scots. This shows class consciousness. Then illusion versus reality. Laura is stuck in a world of high class housing, food, family, and garden parties. She then discovers her neighbor from a lower class has died, and she clicks back to reality upon discovering death. In this story, it also shows sensitivity and insensitivity. The Sheridans hold their garden party with a band of playing music. Laura questions whether this will be appropriate, discovering the death of their neighbor only a few hours earlier. This shows sensitivity, and the party which was planned according to that it was held, this shows insensitivity. Then death and life. The writers handles the theme of death and life in the short story. The realization of Laura that life is simply marvelous shows death of human beings in a positive light. Death and life coexist, and death seems to Laura merely a sound sleep far away from troubles in human life.